and the Hand of Terror arose, controlled by the ultimate evil. Come on, Hand of Terror, arise, damn you! Methinks that exploring the surrounding area would be a sensible strategy. However, to do this, light would be required.
Hey everybody, Ron Burke from Gaming Trend here. Today we're going to take a quick look at some of the early levels from the upcoming evil management simulator, Dungeons 2.
An old throne room was revealed by the light. The circumstances remained a mystery. The Hand of Terror flew through the throne room, following each and every thought the ultimate evil had. After a few flying sessions, the ultimate evil was able to control the hand with ease. The time had come to call forth creatures who were completely devoted to it and would do its dirty work. Little Snots were the dregs of each and every dungeon and spent their time taking care of it. The expansion-mad evil hired one Snot on the spot.
Just a quick note before we get started. This is an early build of the game, so things might occasionally look wonky or maybe not yet translated from German. All of that will hopefully be ironed out by the launch on the 24th of April, but again, realize that this is an early build.
After very careful consideration, the ultimate evil now decided to recruit a Little Snot. The first Little Snot appeared. It was completely ready to work in the dungeon and to crawl in the dust before the ultimate evil. Little Snots were important to the ultimate evil because they took care of many important little things, such as excavating new areas. The psionically gifted evil could sense the presence of something important that was buried to the south. It instructed its Little Snots to dig in that direction. As quick as a fart, the Little Snot made his way to the marked position and began to dig.
Dungeons 2, like its predecessor, is a dungeon building simulator at its core. Your job as, say, a keeper of this little dungeon is to once again rise to power through the use of evil little minions, magic spells, and an ever-increasing pile of dead heroes.
The feisty evil's Little Snots dug up a spider's nest, thereby preempting some of my stories. Since there were no powerful fighting units in the dungeon, it was advisable for everyone to keep very still for the time being. Little Snots were all well and good, but were too weak and cowardly to defend the dungeon. Since it was not able to defend itself, the ultimate evil would have to hire some orcs. But they would require food. Liquid food. Well, beer to be precise. So the next important thing to build was a brewery. And that would require some space to be created. The ultimate evil had the feeling that its servants were not really putting their backs into the work. Might a hearty slap from the Hand of Terror change that?
One of the highlights of the first title was its genuinely funny writing and narration. As you can hear, the tongue-in-cheek style makes a return for this title. The basics of the game revolve around managing your space, gathering treasure, building rooms to spawn units, and then sending little beasties into combat. Not unlike an older Bullfrog title, Dungeons 2 thrives on minion management and a bit of old-school RTS micro.
Beer could be brewed as soon as possible. One of the Little Snots started working on the brewing copper. The nostalgic evil banished all thoughts of Oktoberfest and brass bands. Those would have to wait. More important tasks had to be completed first. Both beer and gold were now available in the dungeon. So it was time to hire some creatures to defend against greedy heroes or whatever else snuck around on this dungeon's human guards had been ancient history for a long while. Now it was home to a huge spider and her brood. Would Sam and Frodo escape it and continue their journey to Mount Doom, or was this the end of the ring bearer? Hang on a minute, that's not right.
I don't want to give away too much of the gameplay or the witty asides from the narrator before we check out the full game, but my few hours with Dungeons 2, it has improved greatly on its predecessor. The team has moved towards more traditional resource management over soul energy and influence, and the humor is far better written this time around. I'm also glad to report that the preview build I have is relatively bug-free. All this bodes pretty well for the launch in a month. I want to reserve judgment until I have the final build, but so far Dungeons 2 is shaping up to be the evil we want it to be.
Tragic.
Rather than our usual fade out to our logo, let's just enjoy a little bit more of that Dungeons 2 humor.
A locked door prevented the assassin from progressing. It would have taken a long time for him to have opened it with sheer brute force using weaponry. Thankfully, he had a suitable skill with which he could deactivate doors, and more importantly, traps. And so the negligent evil promptly allowed the only really vital unit to this mission to die. The goblin leader sighed and put his second-best assassin at evil's disposal. The dungeon's defenses were now clearly much improved, but the hunting lodge still remained well protected and impregnable. There was nothing that the ultimate evil could do. The task was impossible. So the evil withdrew, bent and broken, let feelings of revenge ebb away, and instead took up looking after those cute, teeny-weeny trees. What are they called again? Bonsai, yes, that's it. The end. Pretty unsatisfactory, huh? Of course, that wasn't the end. In reality, the indefatigable evil paid the goblin cave another little visit. The goblin leader would hopefully spit out something useful after a few more slaps.